In a world where local musicians and artists are unrated, underappreciated, battered, abused, and swept under the rug, living show to show without benefits like medieval gestures. Underplayed and Underpaid. Real local music. We've gone rogue. Email us at bryancfru@gmail.com. Viewer discretion is advised. Tolerance is recommended.
Thanks for tuning in. This is Brian McNeil for Underplayed and Underpaid, as I'm always with you. Thank you very much for tuning in, and make sure you click on the subscribe button there, right there on YouTube. The format of the show is we like to promote local talent. If you're a singer-songwriter, comedian, artist, whatever, why don't you give me an email at bryancfru@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to have you into either the secret space that we're using right now, the private layer.
The Abyss.
The Abyss. Or I'll come out to your jam spot and we'll do a little interview and get some songs recorded. So we do like we had with the Essential Letdowns last time, which was awesome. Thank you guys very much for letting me into your space. And today we have Ian Andrews. Here he is, pompadour and all.
Yes. Here, Pompadourable himself.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers and tell them a little bit about what you do in music?
Well, hello viewers. I play music, and I perform it, and I write it, and I create it, and I enjoy doing so because it really lights me up inside. But seeing you folks get lit up when I play, and my band plays, that's what means a lot to me. There's no greater feeling in the world. So now in the past I've been very privy to the blues scene and the blues industry, but I've got some new stuff on the go. So
it's exciting.
All kinds of stuff on the go actually, and it is exciting. We're getting ready for a big performance at the Kitchener Blues Fest. So we'll be on the main stage, the OLG Clock Tower stage. I'm really excited for that. They're absolutely a great team to work with. They handle everything very well at the TD Kitchener Blues Fest, and I'm very excited for it.
Nice. What else have you been up to lately? You got a Wednesday night gig, do you?
Yeah, I do. I run the old. There was this classic venue. It's called the Corktown, formerly the Corktown Tavern, and it's I'd say it's about a century old. It's 100 years old, just about. And it's a beautiful room. Now, for those of you local to Guelph, if you can picture the E-Bar, now it is about twice the size of the E-Bar. It's pretty big. Beautiful stage, full lights, full sound. The lights are amazing. They're automatic. It all goes to a laptop, gets controlled in the sound booth. And what we do there, it's called Wednesday Night Boogie and Blues with Ian Andrews and Friends. And what it is it's a show, and it is sort of a bit of a boogie and blues and everything in between jam. Very high caliber musicians are coming out to this, but it is a concert, so we do have an audience of it ranges anywhere from 50 to 80 every week. Wednesday, no cover or anything like that, and we bring you kind of the best entertainment that's going to come and play for you off the cuff, improv, completely there live for you.
And you put this all together?
And I put this all together, and I produce the night as it goes. So I'll get a big boatload of people that come through the door, and after I've played my initial welcome everybody Wednesday Night Boogie and Blues set, then I got to get to organizing, which means I got to look around the room very quickly, lickety split, and I gotta build a band. because I'm going to have these guys here. Okay, who got in first? Okay, so I'll kind of base it around that. Okay, well, you know what? This gentleman is here. This is kind of what he plays, what he likes, his style. Okay, well, what if I put him with this guitar player? Maybe we'll use my house drummer to back them up on drums. And, oh my God, there's a sax player here already. Okay, great. We'll throw the sax player up and we'll throw a second guitar player on with them.
Nice.
Or keys. So
it's kind of a new show every week.
Yeah, it is. It's totally.
That's jazz, right?
It's totally random. Like I never know who is walking through the door. Sometimes I have an idea of a couple of people that are coming out, but I essentially am producing bands. They're who is in it, which will kind of have to do with how they're going to sound and what they're going to sound like. So I kind of do that throughout the night, and you get some excellent magic that happens because these are people that don't always play together. Mm-hmm. And I have had a couple people ask me and say, well, how do you do it? Do you have a list, or what do you do? And no, I use my head. I put it all in my head. Now sometimes I do make a mistake here and there, but I've been pretty good. I've been doing it for a year and a half, so I've got my mind trained on how to thoroughly and efficiently run it. But the way I see it is, okay, let's say these 4 guys or girls or mixed walked in all at 9:37. Now, typically when you go to a jam or an open mic, these guys that all came in are all going to go on at 9:37. But what the thing is that maybe these guys that walked in at 9:37 at the same time, not together, but at the same time, maybe they shouldn't be playing together. Why? What have we got? Well, this guy plays country. This guy's he likes to play Voodoo Child, and this guy likes to, I don't know, this guy likes some pretty niche stuff from the 70s to play, and this guy will play anything. So, they shouldn't play together. Why put them on? Maybe they're different levels of playing. Maybe their chemistry wouldn't jive right together. So I figured that out. So I keep it within the time range that people kind of walked in on. But I also mix the people up, and sometimes I'll say, hey, you know what? My friend texted me. He's on his way with his saxophone. Why don't you hold off a little bit? You could have a saxophone. Or, you know what? These guys are eating over here right now, but why don't you wait? I could have a 4-piece horn section for you in about half an hour. We'll get things like that where a group of friends come out that are all horn players. Maybe they're doing a rehearsal, and all of a sudden I've got a tenor sax, an alto sax, and a trumpet on stage, to back up where we have a keys player up there already, bass drums, and a couple guitar players, maybe a singer leading. Maybe we have a female vocal guest or something like that. So it's really quite neat, all the things, and we do something once, maybe once every 2 months. It seems to be the consistency with it. But we do double drum night, so we'll have 2 drum kits set up. One more of a percussion drum kit that's got a smaller kick and it's got cowbells and wood blocks and stuff attached to it. And then a full kit beside it. So then we can start bringing in Allman Brothers stuff and things like that. The last time we did it actually was a tribute to Greg Allman just after he had died. So we decided, let's do a double drum night, kind of tribute the Allman Brothers and Greg Allman. So that's what we decided to do, and they always turn out fantastic.
Nice.
But this week, actually, we have a legend coming on down to our show, and he's going to be sitting in with us and joining forces with me, and we're going to be entertaining the audience at Wednesday Night Boogie and Blues. And it's Mr. Wild T of Wild T in the Spirit, Tony Springer. He's incredible. He's had a Hendrix shtick for a while. People have hired him to do his Hendrix show here and there, where he does kind of he has attire that is Hendrix-like and everything, and he hasn't done it for a while. He did it. He was talking to me on the phone a little while ago. He was just actually rigging up a guitar that would be able to be used to burn on stage as Hendrix did. So he had to get like a metal pickguard and different things like that. All secrets of the trade I can't really tell you. But,
Fair.
But very, very interesting stuff. So he's going to be coming down, and I'm excited to play with him. He's got an incredible resume. He played on Black Tie's White Noise from David Bowie. He was invited to play on that album. And he's hung out around Chicago for a long time and played and backed up some of the best musicians out of Chicago. and then his own critically acclaimed releases through all the 90s and things like that. He's Juno nominations and everything. He's a fantastic guitar player. I opened for him maybe a year ago, and it was just fantastic to watch him play. Watch him just totally out there. He's kind of bent. He's got a interesting posture on stage for, into a part of his guitar solo, and he will just kind of open his eyes wide, stick out his tongue like a serpent, and just like do crazy things and eat his guitar and really wild stuff.
Wow.
But he's an incredible musician, an incredible man, actually.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
Speaking of a resume, now what nominations and awards have you been nominated for or been granted?
Well, 2016, I was nominated for Guitarist of the Year
And Hamilton
at
Music.
the Hamilton Music Awards, yes, which I do hear there's no more of because of some politics and things going on. There was an incident between, for the record, viewers, I'm completely neutral to all of this, and I'm not involved in any way, and I don't really have too much of an opinion on anything because I don't know the facts and I wasn't part of it, so I don't choose to walk around saying anything. But in a nutshell, there is the Harvest Picnic concert. You may have heard of it. It's it's outside of Hamilton area, anyways, in that area. Great show. They'll have folks like Gordon Lightfoot, a great list of people, some Hamilton talent, some Toronto talent. Now, there was something that went on with an artist was maybe sick or something. There was something that went on with contracts or something like that, but somewhere along the lines, people didn't get paid from the last Harvest Picnic, and then there was a big lawsuit, and the guy running it wanted to sue people, which had to do over the contract not being fulfilled by one of the major artists. This is all from what I'm understanding. When but nobody's gotten paid, so there is kind of an uproar about it. But he was involved, if not at the top of the totem pole for the Hamilton Music Awards and putting them on. Anyways, all that aside, it's kind of special, I guess, because the last year of the Hamilton Music Awards, I was lucky enough to be recognized to be nominated for Guitarist of the Year, which there was some great guitar players in there. There was Luc Doucette, formerly of Doucette, brother of Jerry Doucette, if I remember correctly, that's their relation, and a few others. Right now Luc Doucette plays in Whitehorse, which you may be familiar with. And also too, my other nomination was for Blues Recording of the Year, which I was lucky enough honored to take home, and
Congratulations.
got the trophy for it. So I'm very proud of that. So that's kind of some of the stuff I've been nominated for, and I hope to seek out some more nominations.
Fantastic. Well, so the album for which you won the award is this one right here.
Yes.
Right.
That's
It's
the
called
one.
Foreplay. Ian Andrews and the Smokin' Scoundrels.
Yes.
Foreplay.
I
Here you
gotta
go.
take a look at this. I haven't seen these in a little while here.
So, are you working on new material?
I am working on new material.
And is it similar to the material which is found on the album Foreplay?
No, not exactly, no. What's interesting is some of the songs that are going to be on the second record, I actually wrote and started writing a second record before I was even finished recording Foreplay. So it's kind of interesting how it works. I started writing my second record before I was done my first record. Mm-hmm. And those songs now, they have evolved a little bit, and I've figured out more things to add. I've figured out some producer things where it's, okay, well, you know what we should really do here is we should have a saxophone on this song, but kind of I don't want alto sax, tenor sax, but the licks that with the saxophone I'll be playing are more of a, if you think Sticky Fingers, Rolling Stones, like that, or Exile on Main Street, that sort of bebop rock and roll lines where it's a little growly at the same time, and it's kind of all that going on. So this album is really more sounding early 70s rock and roll, where you're getting sounds that'd be like, hey, that's kind of got an Edgar Winter group to it, or hey, this is similar to like Deep Purple Machine Head, or this is kind of Rolling Stones, and this is, there's a song I wrote very recently, and it was inspired by my son actually. We were out, and he had been having problems with his attitude and things, and I just had to have a talk with him, and it just kind of got me inspired. So I wrote this song, and it's called Just Like Mine, and it's kind of the main thing is, don't forget your heart's just like mine. That's kind of the hook of it. It's kind of saying, listen, I was exactly the same as smarten up sort of thing. I know what I'm talking about. Listen.
There you go.
So and it's a great song, and this song really is kind of falling into more of a almost a Rod Stewart Faces kind of sound in that area, where it's got like a touch of that, I don't want to say country, but touch of that kind of country blues sort of thing, that country-ish twang to the rock and roll side of it. So, I guess you can kind of put it under southern rock, but it's not quite Skinner.
Cool. All right. Well, how about we give the viewers a taste of the album Foreplay?
Foreplay.
Do I have permission first off to play a song off of Foreplay?
Well, of course you do.
On the UTET, because you own the rights.
I do own the rights, and they're copywritten, so they're safe.
That's the way to do it.
Yes.
You're rather lucky, right?
I am rather lucky. Yeah. I had to mail a lot of things to myself.
So we're going to play song number 1 here, Chin High, also known as Grinning Through the Blues.
Yes, it's one of those bracket titles, Chin High, Grinning Through the Blues. That's what I like to do, because when you get the blues, you just got to keep your chin high and keep grinning through the blues.
All right, Underplayed and Underpaid, new YouTube format. Here you go, enjoy the tune. We'll be back. Bam.
That's what I do. I'm gonna keep on rocking, baby, that's what I do. I'm gonna stop to call a doctor, I'm gonna stop for the eagle conductor. This factory's gonna break on through, break on through. I don't care about the future with the president's best me blind. Well, I'm gonna keep on going right down to 2 yellow lights. I got the FM tune, the rock and roll house, cruise control sets up overdrive, baby. No state patrol stopping me tonight. Well, what was I to do when I'm on loose? She's a lady, she ain't thinking twice. Well, what was I to do? She comes into the room. Well, I keep my chin high, grinning through the blues. Yeah.
And we're back on Underplayed and Underpaid. Thank you very much for that tune. That was pretty upbeat, swinging.
It was
That's the first song off of the last album, Foreplay.
Yes. I like that song a lot. It's kind of about, it's what it says. I'm going to keep on rocking, baby. That's what I do. You can't stop. You'll hit moments maybe where you hit a wall or something, but you just got to kind of go, okay, I've hit the wall, and I'm just going to step to the side, and I'm going to keep walking.
Nice.
You just keep on going. It's kind of what it's about. Keep your chin high, grinning through the blues.
Now, do you have a game day ritual? Like on the days that you perform, do you have a certain thing, a certain meal that you eat, or a certain time that you start doing certain things? Whether it be your Wednesday night at the Corktown pub or other shows?
I guess it'll vary. You see, those that know me may know that I'm a tad tardy at times, because I tend to take on so much at once and try to do it all and try to keep everybody pleased. So, it really depends, but, well, I gotta say, if there's anything really, it would probably be, I like to roll down my windows and pop my sunroof open, and have a real good song playing, get some funk going or something that really kind of amps me up and gets me ready with whatever would go with the day I'm having, sort of thing.
Okay.
To get me kind of, ready to rock, sort of thing. And I do like, coming in and asking the bartender or bartendress what kind of bourbon they have on their top shelf. It's been a while since I played somewhere without a top shelf. So I used to run into that problem where, do you have any bourbon? What do you have on your top shelf? And they'd ask me what a top shelf is, and I'd say, okay, I will is really okay. So Canadian Club is all you have. Okay, all right. Do you have Jack? Okay, well, Jack will have to do. So I do like Jack. It's like a quick shot, but I do like my bourbon, so I like to have a bourbon to sip on, and maybe I'll get a beer too, especially if it's summer. Mm-hmm. But I do like a nice bourbon because it kind of opens me up. And lately I've been getting back into the habit of there's something I take that helps me with my voice and everything like that. Not drugs or anything like that, because drugs are bad, okay? So it's a natural remedy, I guess you could call it. It is not reefer, although sometimes that's known to happen.
Is it honey?
No, honey.
Okay,
honey is great. These are secrets. These are,
okay, all right.
These are secrets.
Do not divulge your secret there.
But I have given it to a couple of people, so I suppose I'll just shoot for it. I gotta say, cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
That's the secret. Is cayenne pepper.
You put it on a spoon and just shovel it in?
I do like spicy food.
I'm sure you're not snorting it.
No. Although I heard this thing on the radio the other day that was it in Germany or just Europe in general? They've come out with dark chocolate that you can snort and you can receive the health benefits from it without the calories.
Make sure you look that up because that sounds crazy.
That is absolutely crazy. But anyways, no, I do not. That would be
or satirical.
Snorting cayenne pepper.
But how do you want to leave that as the mystery? How you consume?
All right, I'll let it out little by little. You can get capsules of cayenne, and what it does, I'm not gonna lie, do not overdose on this stuff because you will be in the bathroom the next day for quite a bit. I switched brands once, and I used to be able to take I think 3 or 4 in a night, and then I could only take 1 from this other brand. So when I first got this new brand, I took 3 or 4 in a night, and it was not a good next day. That was a rough morning after the gig.
Ouch.
Yes, but it's great because it's actually a natural antihistamine. It clears you up. It clears your sinuses. Mm-hmm. And while you're playing, what's really interesting, I don't know, for those of you that eat spicy food, you may notice that you get a slight buzz from the heat from eating the spice, right?
Okay.
If you eat some spicy stuff. So this will actually, it does give you this slight glow, if you will, like if you've had a nice glass of red wine or something like that, where it gives you that glow and your face feels a little pressurized and whatnot. So it feels great, and you'll feel this warm radiating, like it's just radiating
Oh, I
in
bet
your
you do.
chest. It's good, and you'll definitely sweat. I'll never forget the time my bass player, we were playing a gig here in Guelph, actually, at the Shakespeare Arms, and he was feeling kind of sick, kind of had a cold, and I was kind of feeling stuffy that day, so I took some. I said, well, why don't you have one here? And it was funny because we didn't actually play that hard of a first set, and my drummer is totally cool, laxed, no sweat whatsoever, and Jason and I are just like almost beet red, sweating, like we looked like we were on something. We were hot, So it does have some effects on you, but they're good. They do kind of amp you up a little bit for stage.
Pretty cool insider music scene information right there. So
Yes.
look into it if you're interested. So we went for food at the Albion, and we were hanging out. That's actually why we even decided to put together an interview for today.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah,
I
food
needed
first.
I needed some food and some company. So
Well, thanks, Mian. Thanks for giving me a call.
thank you.
So you went out for a dart, and you bumped into somebody because the name droppers performed last night at the Jimmy Jazz.
They did.
And you bumped into Anthony Damia.
Yes.
Tell a little bit about the history for the subs of you and the name droppers.
Anthony. Now, where did I meet Anthony? I think I met. Well, where else would I meet him? It was the Jimmy Jazz, and I think I met him at Nate Cole's open mic on Sundays, and I remember hearing him play "Build Me Up, Buttercup," except he played that song
With that voice.
with quote unquote that voice, a baritone Tom Waits, if you will, voice. Build me up, Buttercup.
Yeah.
Just very eerie and dark. And I thought that is the most fantastic thing in the world. And then when he plays Psycho Killer, holy smokes! Like that voice, just whoa! It's like someone took a yo-yo or a lasso and it just goes flying off in the distance. It's crazy. It just belts it.
Yeah.
I picture a belt going and waving off. It's crazy. But the history there, besides meeting Anthony, and that Anthony's a really cool guy, but their guitar player Mike DeFelice, we've actually been best friends. There's a group of 6 of us that are bestest of friends. We used to live together, for a long time, and before I moved out of Guelph and kind of really got on my own feet with my career, I had a band, and that was kind of the band where I was not just a guitar player anymore and not just sitting on the sideline. I decided to, okay, well, you know what, I'm writing some songs now that I really think are something, and I think I'm going to go up front and be a front man, and kind of this will be my first kind of thing. It was still a pretty democratic band situation where we decided things together, and it was kind of an all for one for all situation, but I was the front man, kind of leading and writing the songs and kind of producing some of the music a little bit. So we were called Cornelius and the Damn Dirty Apes, and some of you around Guelph, you may remember we did a few shows. I think we did something at good old Biggie's there when it was around, which was, we were trying to get on our feet, right?
And well, they tried to give that area of downtown a feel of the old Wally's Tavern, right? Which was there for a long time and provided music from a lot of really cool artists like.
Well, there were some pretty heavy people that
David
played
Wilcox,
there.
right?
Yeah,
he played there all the time, didn't
Wilcox and all kinds of people. Jack de Kaiser.
I bet you Mo Coffee played there a lot.
Yes, Mo Coffee. Yes.
And what was the other, the blues guy?
You narrowed it down with that one.
Oh no, there's another one. It's just escaping me right now.
Steve Strongman.
No. When I interviewed Mo, I remember him telling me a story about Mo. About coming to Guelph and hanging out with this guy, and he would behind the venue he'd be sitting in his van drinking beers and selling beers to the kids. Mel Brown.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes. No, he's Well, I don't believe he's with us any longer.
No, neither is Mo.
No, neither is Mo.
Unfortunately.
Mo was, I kind of, when I started going out and stepping on a stage, the first stage I stood on was actually Molly Bloom's. And that was for I think the first time I went there was a Monday night open mic, or a songwriter's night, with Daniel Richards. And then, was it Monday night or was it Thursday night? I can't remember. But Thursday night, I would also go to Kent Smith's open mic night. And it was there where I kind of started getting the hang of playing on a stage. And I would play his very sweet, which I believe the year was 1948, Gibson. Beautiful guitar. Absolutely beautiful guitar. And that's where I would strum Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash and maybe a couple of other of my songs that I wrote at the time. And that's kind of where it all started. That's where I met Mo, and I saw Mo around. I always saw him and watched him play, and I was like, Mo Coffee, man. And it's just like it is. It's like coffee house blues, you know. It's really great. I love the sound. I remember playing with him at a little festival that happens here in town called the Freshwater Fest, and that was fun to kind of sit in with him, and variety of radio shows with him. I remember a radio show with him before he had passed away, and that was sort of the last time I saw him. My biggest regret was he was having a kind of a show, kind of a bit of a fundraiser show for himself.
Royal Electric.
Yeah, so it was Royal Electric, and I couldn't make it to that one, and then there was another one.
I was there for you.
Yeah, there was another one in Hamilton at the Art Bar, and I couldn't do it, but my friend Greg Briscoe, who's my keys player, also, I got him to sub, so he subbed in for me, sort of thing. And,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, speaking of, musicians from the past and musicians to the present, what advice do you have to the musicians of tomorrow? So young guys are starting out, guys, girls, young musicians that are starting up. What kind of advice would you give them before they even get to that point to think about?
Well, there's all kinds of things I can, stay very humble. There's always bigger fish in the sea, but don't let the bigger fish in the sea discourage you or anything. There's people, that they will use the phrase or figure of speech. Well, I just wanted to throw my guitar out and never play again after watching this guy because he was so amazing. It's maybe kidding around, or maybe they're serious for a second, but you shouldn't. I've had over the years, different people say really wise things to me that really kind of made me think about it. Like when I was in high school, I remember there was this little high school band. They were kind of neat. They were called Creemore with a K.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a couple guitar players, and they had a drummer, bass player, obviously, and then a singer. And they had this one song. I can't remember. The riff was like, bow, now, 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 now. It was, I can't remember it. I'd love to listen to it again. But there was a guy went to my school, and he played in the band, and he was always good, and he had really nice gear. It was like he had my dream gear. He had like a PV 6505, and the EVH Wolfgang with the zebra finish humbuckers in it, and I was just wow. And I remember I decided to take a grade 10 guitar course, which I really wish I had paid more attention in, because I sort of just noodled around in and kind of showed off what I could do on the guitar at that point. The only thing I got really perfect on was I had to learn sort of my final was I had to pick a song to learn and perform in the just to the teacher, actually. And it was Stairway to Heaven, and that was it. And I got 92% because I didn't play it perfectly, because I didn't actually learn the sheet music that I was given to learn for it, and I just figured it out by ear and did it that way. So he gave me 92% for that, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. That was a good mark for me in high school, was 92.
There you go. How about we drop another track for the viewers and subs? Like all right, so off of the album Foreplay.
Yes.
Boom. And what would you like to play?
I gotta say, what is really funny though is You asked me a question, I didn't answer it. I totally just talked about myself.
Well, you said don't be discouraged by looking up to musicians and being like, oh, I'm gonna throw my guitar away.
Oh, I'm not that dull and shallow now. Come on, there's so much
Okay,
more.
well, if you'd like to...
If we got the time before a song. So, I mean, where I was going with that whole story of the Creamore band, you know, this guy in my class, Rob, he said, you know what, man, like, do not spend your time here. Don't marvel me. Take what I have in and go home and practice it and learn from it. And I never got that for some years, and then I kind of got it, you know. You know, there was he had played on my album, Foreplay. Alan Duffy, bass player. He plays with Jack DeKaiser. He was a really big mentor for me. I learned a lot about producing from him. You know, all kinds of things, you know. Plus, he was just a cool guy, and he says "baby" a lot, so that was a plus. Just kidding. Baby. Yeah, exactly, like that.
We haven't had Derek Hines on the show.
Yes.
In the near future, I miss that guy.
So, Al said to me, you know, he said, you know, that's what you're doing, good, baby. That's what you got to do, man. You know, and I'll quote Alan Duffy here he told me, he said, you know, baby, what you do is you stand on the shoulder of the giants, you know, and in extension of that, you find your giants, and you climb and you reach and you keep going and going and going and keep standing on new shoulders at new heights until finally one day you yourself become a giant where you don't really get much higher anymore, and there's no more shoulders to stand on, and then you too become a shoulder for someone else to stand on and to look up to. So that's kind of, and I try to do that. I actually passed that along. I quoted the great Alan Duffy, you know, the man of many puns, such as telling me about his friend Saul Goodman when I ask him how he's doing, or you know, when I say something he doesn't quite, you know, he can't believe I would get no kidney, or there's right arm, you know. I always loved it when he said I'll see you at that time. So I have to say I'll see you at that time TM, because that's an Alan Duffy trademark. I think Yeah Baby should become an Alan Duffy trademark if it's not taken by Austin Powers already. Love you, Al. But yes, that in a sense there. And now that I'm going back on questions, I'm also remembering I didn't give much about the history too much with... I think I did talk about Cornelius and the Damn Dirty Apes, didn't I?
You did, yes.
I did, okay. I'm just crazy.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's all right. It's an interviewee's remorse.
Yes.
All right, so how about we drop into the song for the subs and the viewers?
Yeah, let's do it. I think.
All right,
I think
you wanted to do
play...
number 9 next?
Yeah, track 9. I'm shaking. Now, I'll tell you about this track.
Okay.
I absolutely love this track. It is probably... I think it's my favorite on the album. And I think it's particularly because the experience I had creating that track, what all went into that track. I had Miss Sherry Dunn from Hamilton is featured as the female vocalist on it. And I'm just remembering playing that, firstly the bed tracks, those magic sessions done with Michael J. Berthelmer's studio, Pine Street in Hamilton. And that was a magic session to get the bed tracks. We got the last 3 tracks there. That song was part of. But we had a producing session where Bill Holinati, who played many horns on the album, and one of the horn players, he played bass clarinet on this. So I remember he came by, and he was running a little bit late. He just had something with his son, and it just couldn't be more perfect. Sherry got there, you know, when she was supposed to come. It was kind of a last minute requesting that popped into my head, sort of thing. And you know, she came, and Bill came late but perfect timing because they got there all at the same time. And Bill had been Sherry's music teacher in, I believe, was it high school or junior high? So they were really well acquainted. And Mike Berthelmer, whose studio it was an old friend of Bill's. And you know what? Those two had one-liners coming out the yin-yang. Like, I'm talking some really cheesy stuff. Like, Bill was walking out the door after we were done recording, And Mike runs to the door, opens, and, hey, Bill, if you're driving home, don't forget your car, okay? Like, stuff like that. Like, just really silly stuff. But, all kinds of, I'm trying to remember all of the one-liners.
We don't need all of them.
Yeah. But there was a point where Mike, he got Bill, he got him, and Bill was trying to pack up his saxophone, and he just fell to his knees and was just laughing so hard. This was another incident of the cayenne pepper here, where Sherry was not feeling well, and I said, you know what? I'll give you, just take some of this, you'll feel better. And at first she's like, what is this? And I said, it's cayenne pepper. It'll clear you right up. I promise it's not drugs. She was like, okay. And now she swears by it. So anyways, on with the show here. This is my favorite track here. I thought I did a pretty sufficient job of producing everything and everybody in it. So, let's get on with it.
All right, here's I'm Shaken by Ian Andrews and the Smokin' Scoundrels off the album Foreplay, which you can get online, I imagine.
Oh, not yet. I'm actually building a website.
All right.
But
so stay tuned to Underplayed Underpaid, and we'll get to that in the near future. You're listening and watching Underplayed and Underpaid, the YouTube podcast format. I haven't figured out how to say that properly. And here's the song. Enjoy.
As the street lights go by, I know I ain't been the best, but I've been losing my mind. Another concession, the driver's side. 40 miles are past and I still can't cry. The next dark town passes it, sleeps with the night. The dark shadows cast in, dancing in the moonlight. How long must I try? How long? My baby won't answer the heartbroken time. Blues are shaking. How long, baby? It's the blues are shaking. How long, baby? It's the blues are shaking. How long, baby? It's the blues are shaking. How long, baby? Nobody here to hold me now. Yeah. Stop the tremors and the aching. My body's gone numb, my heart's still racing. My skin's cold on the bathroom towel, the nicotine stains that swallow my mind. What my baby do? What my baby like? The nightmares share my bed and they scratch my skin all night. Can't count the street lights, just remember highs. Oh, we're nowhere now, and I give it all to see that Can't feel my legs, but I hear the sounds.
Welcome back to Underplayed and Underpaid. We got the fabulous, fantastic Ian Andrews in the secret spot for an interview. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you can keep in touch with local music. And also, go to musiclives.ca because apparently it's still moving, still going. They still have some updated things on the calendar for shows that are happening in Guelph. And some of them are a little antiquated, but maybe we can get Kelly and Aaron back involved with keeping it really updated. We'll see,
I think it'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
I think something like that, I was really happy when I heard about Music Lives sort of coming together and things were really flourishing for Music Lives. I think it's something that would be good that kind of ties the scene in together so that everybody's not so isolated to their own clique. I think that, it's one place where literally everybody comes together on a page, in a sense where, everybody's all together when you open a book. It is like, hey, you're reminded that we are all very close together and we are and can be a tight community. I think that's a big thing for the Guelph scene. Guelph is a small town, there's a small scene, but I do find there's just different things going on. It's kind of a different ball game here. You've got your metal scene and your punk scene and things like that at District, of that kind of clan. But then you have, all your, first to second year or third year, whatever, university students, and I'm not stereotyping by any means, but there's just the general university crowd that come out, and if they do go to a live music venue, they're just out, but they may not be, in a sense, following music. They're just out for a good. What I realized, I haven't swore on the show yet. They're just out for a good fucking pissing.
There you go.
There you go.
All the sirens going by.
Yes, well, the sirens.
Fitting.
They know where I am. We gotta go. I find that it's not like that there. There's not quite that community that's overly large where it's, there's things going on, there's a little bit of isolation here, and I think that there could be ways to make things even bigger here. But also too, the flip side of that is that there's not a lot of audience in Guelph. There's not that many that are wanting to go out to the bars downtown. If they do, maybe they're going to NV Lounge to have a drink, or something like that, and maybe they'll see. Does D Archer, is she still around?
I think she just went to Europe.
Again, I always miss her, and I haven't seen her in years. She
fantastic artist.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, she's absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I hear you're also a drummer.
Ah.
Right? So, talk about drumming, and are you for hire? And how would you rate yourself as a drummer?
Well, yes. I mean, I play drums. I've been playing drums actually just about as long as guitar. Just nobody really knows that. Once in a while you see me maybe at a jam or something, and I might hop up on the drums if spontaneousness occurs and there's room for it, and but I have been playing for, well, I guess 13 years, I would say. Yeah, 13 years, that makes sense. Maybe 13 years.
And you've also been around some really good drummers, so you've picked up a lot of tricks and a lot of things. Eh?
Well, how I learned drums actually was I had almost a 22-piece kit by the time we combined my younger brother's drum set and mine together with 2 kick drums. But I used to put my headphones on, and one of the albums I put on was Kill 'Em All by Metallica.
Okay.
And I would sit down and I would play that beat for beat, hit for hit, smack for smack. So that's kind of how I learned, and I moved into Iron Maiden, and I moved into Pantera, and all these different things, and I moved into, rock and roll, and maybe a touch of Rush, but I wasn't crazy about it, just all kinds of different things. And that's kind of how I learned, was by listening to that. And then just as I, kept going to things and seeing new drummers and go, okay, there we go. Then I started picking up more shuffle beats and started playing jazz, started playing blues, started playing funk and rock and roll, and just paying and learning more. As I learned about guitar and maybe stage ethics, I guess you could call it, where you're watching and how to communicate. So then I learned, how to communicate on drums, because I'm constantly communicating and conducting a drummer. I know what to watch for now, for someone to be conducting me. So I do enjoy it a lot. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an incredible drummer. Like, there's many. There's Sean O'Grady. There's my drummer, Matt Burns. He's incredible. There's Danny Lockwood. There's a great many of players out there. Al Baby Webster, he's a great drummer as well. There's all kinds. These are top-notch pro guys. And I would, for me, I would say, I would hire myself, and I'm pretty picky with who I hire. I have very high standards with things, and if I haven't hired you yet, don't feel ashamed. It's not that at all. It's just strictly, it's just whatever works out.
And if you're a drummer and you think you're good enough to play in either the Smokin' Scoundrels or on the Wednesday, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, I mean, if they want to play on Wednesday, they just kind of show up, sort of thing, and check it out. And I always ask, it's a hard question to ask, because I don't want to offend anybody, right? But it's like, I always just let them know and say, just so you know, and it has nothing to do with you. I'm just saying that this is a higher caliber of musicians. Like, I have the odd award winner coming in, or multiple on one night. Mm-hmm. Coming in and playing, and guys that are really heavy duty players, so and I'm not saying it to say I think you suck and maybe you shouldn't come. I'm saying it just so I don't want you to get up on stage and go, holy shit, I'm going to fall off the back of this frickin' train right now because I can't keep up, and what am I doing? But on the flip side, I also don't want you to get over ambitious and I want you to be confident and come out. That's why I always say, come out and check it out first. That way, you're not just running up there and feeling bad after because, oh, geez, I just kind of mucked up somebody's set and it kind of looked bad on me or something. Or, maybe quite the opposite. Oh, geez, I just went up there and it fucking rocked and it was wicked. Meanwhile, it's like, oh my God, like, did you really just go up there and slam the hell out of those drums or that bass, or did you just break a string on my guitar or something like that? So you got to find that balance there of how to communicate. But come on out and check it out, and if you feel up to it, absolutely go ahead. I've let people that, like, there's a guy that was coming out and he wasn't he was just kind of getting into drums. He could just kind of hold down a beat, but I just kind of did a favor sort of thing. Like, I'm very welcoming with people because I want them to learn and blossom and grow and give them a space for it as
supporter of music.
Yes, as I've had given to me. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for open mics and people giving me a chance. So, I let them come up and play maybe one song, maybe two songs, right? But in order to do that, I'd have to kind of stop the rotation or the flow of list that we're going through in my head to put, myself on and my bass player on and no one else. Right, just us, or maybe an extra guitar player or something like that, but very basic so that this guy can just kind of play drums. So I did that for a bit, and if maybe he got a little rude and stuff about things, because he maybe waited a while and didn't understand kind of our side of things, how we have to do it a certain way and things like that. He got rude, so he just doesn't really come back anymore because he didn't get his way one time. So, ouch. But, show up with a professional attitude and come out and have some fun. I totally will let you go up, and, if it's not the greatest, I still go up on that microphone and say, ladies and gentlemen, you put your hands together for so-and-so. Holy smokes, newcomer coming out, way to go. And, get the audience psyched up about this guy that just went on stage, even though he may have completely, just totally blown it. I still make them feel good and comfortable, right? And maybe they'll come out again and be better. And I'll say to them, hey, that was all right. Just a couple things if I can suggest to work on and do this and that, and come on out again. Nice. Yeah.
All right. What CDs are currently in your car?
Ooh, this is a good one. I like this question. Because it's not what you think would be in my car. I know lots of people would think I'd have like all this Howlin' Wolf and Howlin' Wolf and
Sade.
yeah, and
Who is fantastic, by the way.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Sade.
yes, and to wet the whistle there. So in my car, I don't even know where to start. Let's see here.
Okay, well, it was in the CD player when we got here. It was the Rolling Stones.
Well,
Sticky Fingers, right?
yes. Well, there's Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers I have in my car, and I got I actually got it locally here in Guelph from Royal Cat Records. That's the name of the store, I think, right?
I think it's still there. I'm not 100% sure.
It's in the basement.
Yeah, I'm not, it might still be. I think it is.
I hope it is. That was a
hope it is,
good good place there. I took my son in there, and we went record shopping for 2 hours, and he actually stayed entertained. And the rule was he wasn't allowed to touch a record or flip to the next one until he read the record, and he had to read everything on it. He's only 6, so he would read and try and get through it and sound things out, and it took him a while, thankfully, because I was very indecisive about which record. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh man, I got like this Parliament up for the downstroke, but there's also like John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, and so it was neat. But so I do have Sticky Fingers in my car, and I got that from Royal Cat Records, and I got it with the hard case, which you pull it out of, and it has the actual zipper on the leather pants, like a real zipper.
Nice.
On the front of the case. I have a burned CD in there right now from many, many years ago. I would even say like maybe 7 or 8 years ago. It's an old CD that I burned. And on that, there's, oh gosh, what were they? They sang All Right Now. All Right Now. Anyways, some Bad Company as well. What else was on that? Some Supertramp, some Headstones, some Spin Doctors, some Black Crows, and then I've got what I really like is it suddenly goes into, it's got Booker T and the MGs, Green Onions on it, and then it has Sam and Dave, and it's got Walter Murphy's Beethoven Fifth, the disco version, with the whole string section. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And it's got
showcased in numerous movies.
Yeah, it's got the clavichord in it. Right, it's just perfect. Other than that, I got Fleetwood Mac Rumors, which is a beautiful album. I think it's one of my favorite albums. It's very well produced. You notice Lindsey Buckingham's solos in Don't Stop, for example. Like just that. Even just in the opening, the riff, just one note, these 1 or 2 or 3 note guitar solos, that's all you need, but it's full of beautiful tone and it says it all, it's the expression and delivery of it. The songs are all well written as well. Other than Fleetwood Mac, I got the best of the Guess Who, great Canadian band, Burton Cummings, love Burton Cummings,
Absolutely.
Randy Bachman as well as in that. I got Kiss, You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best, which was a live album, greatest hits live album of all of their stuff. It also featured an interview of all the guys and the original members after they had, this is post MTV Unplugged, where they had realized the magic was still there, and they kind of got back together and started doing some stuff.
It brings up a question I was thinking about earlier, and I was going to write it down, and I was like, I'm not going to, now I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Because you brought up specifically that album. Now, when it comes to marketing, do you think that people enjoy music actually more based on what they're more exposed to and what they're told this is the best, like the name of the album, you wanted the best, we're going to give you the best, but it's obviously not really the best. And the music that's on the radio, it's repetition. When I know that's a science, it's a science. The more somebody hears something, the more they're accepting of it, versus quality musicianship. Where do you think we are currently, and what is our climate with music lately?
Well, it's a formula, right? So pop music is shifting. It does change and it evolves. If you look at pop music, say in the early 2000s to maybe going into that emo phase of 2002, 2003, then we're moving into some different other things. And then there was this whole kind of rap and hip hop, very heavy. And then it kind of shifted into, still your general pop music with its, and it started moving into house music a little more techno-y, and then it started blending kind of more recently, this hip-hop, soca, and reggae and things like that, but with techno a little bit and house music and things like that. So it's interesting how it's come together, and then you do have your kind of, I don't want to say bland, but your simple light rock music, or very simple pop music, and it's just really, a lot of it is easy listening. It's very, like if you listen to Magic 106.1, they certainly play good stuff from before. For me personally, I'm if I'm listening to it, I do have a job I do during the day, and we do listen to 106.1 at work. And for me, with my musical tastes and preferences, I am spending most of the day hoping to God that Loverboy comes on, or Pat Benatar, or Bryan Adams, or something of that nature. I love Pat Benatar and Bryan Adams. He was great, but he's not my go-to person to listen to. Mm-hmm. But they're certainly more excitable than, say, so-and-so with Flow Rider, or Shona Paul, or guys like that. They've never really been my musical interest, but I find this music now, this pop music, is it's so easy just to put on, and it's there. And most people that don't even listen to music just automatically have that, because the formula of it is so simple and easygoing, and there's nothing that goes outside of that offensive line, so to speak. Like, it doesn't cross the line anywhere with anything, with its sounds, with its beat, with its anything like that. It stays in this nice cookie cutter bubble, more or less, where it kind of stays in there and kind of slightly may tickle your fancy if you don't have too big of standards. But what's interesting is that, again, pop music is shifting and evolving. Now let's look at Adam Levine, Maroon 5. Let's look at Justin Timberlake. Okay, what is their sound right now? They've kind of moved away from this synthesized sound, kind of, but not really. And what's really interesting is that now they're actually they're playing funk music now. Right. It is. If you listen to this song was in the movie my son liked, Trolls. Justin Timberlake's "Can't Stop the Feeling." Okay. It's actually a funk song. You listen to the bass, you listen to the beat. It's a funk song. Now, it would absolutely in the 70s be considered more of a very polished, very produced, again, I'll use the term cookie cutter, commercialized funk or disco, but we are kind of moving back in that direction now. Adam Levine, I can't remember the song. That is Adam Levine, right? From Maroon 5, if I remember.
I'm not sure. I don't really know. I'm a Guelph music guy.
Fair enough. Yes, you are. I'm kind of a music in general kind of guy with everything. But it's interesting to analyze, and that's actually going back to musicians, young musicians, people that are professional and gigging right now and are individual artists. Listen to the music. Listen to what is on the radio right now. You know what? There's people that will go, well, this is what's good right now, so I'm going to make it. You don't want to make what's good right now. You want to refer to what's good right now. You want to be yourself. You want to be yourself, but you want to reference it so that there's people can make a link to it. You know what I mean? Like, I need a pen and a paper. Can I have a pen and a paper? It's this interesting theory of things I've got. If you picture a line, right? And this is the line of right now, pop music. Now, I get very excited when I hear things like, what was that guy's name? Son of a bitch, give me a drink.
I don't know.
My goodness, his name's slipping me right now. I want to
from
say
Guelph?
Nathaniel. Right. Not-
Yeah,
not
no,
from
I don't
Guelph. Anyways, he had this kind of soul, Motowny sort of sound, that old 60s sound, mid 60s, I would say, slightly gospel and everything. Son of a bitch, give me a drink. I know everybody, all the viewers, you know what I'm talking about. But when I hear that, I get excited because it was recorded with an old style, an old tone, that you wouldn't hear now. It's referencing old music, and it's become pop music. And it's got ears calibrated, if you will, attenuated to this sound again. And then I heard a new Billy Talent song on the radio the other day, and the riff, how Billy Talent has that, they'll throw in a dark note or something, but it was a blues, it was like a da-na-na-na-na, and they would add something a little more punky sounding in, but it was maybe, I think it was a diminished note perhaps at the end of that, so it wasn't like playing a blues song, but it had a couple of those blues pentatonic scales, notes from the scale in it, and it's like, okay, well, it's like there's a slight conditioning going on. So you picture this line, right? And now this line veers this way a little bit and this is the line you're kind of riding, okay? Now you want to your parallel lines, but you want to get closer and closer where you can kind of come together with sounds here where you're hoping this line is just going to swing over a little bit, this being the pop music line, and all the things generalized. We can generalize all these things, old sounds, a 70s sound, a blues sound, or something like that, for me in particular. So just kind of waiting for that to go over, and then you can kind of find a way to grab hold of it and then maybe do something with it yourself and add something.
Speaking of things you've done yourself, how about we drop a third song for the subs and the viewers?
I like it.
Sounds like a good idea.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You wanted to play song number 11, The Sound of Blues.
Oh, the Scoundrel Blues.
The Scoundrel Blues.
I know, I don't talk properly sometimes.
You had food in your mouth, I had food in my ears. That's how we were talking over at the Albion.
Yes, yes.
And how was the rhubarb crumb? Was it rhubarb?
Rhubarb apple crumble, the chef's
crumble.
choice. I tell you, Rachel Stryker, she's got some great ideas there in the kitchen.
There you go. Shouts out to the Albion.
She's a great chef, yes.
All right, so here's the Scoundrel Blues on Underplayed Underpaid, former of the University of Guelph, Community Campus Radio. Screw them. And enjoy the song. We'll be back in a few with Ian Andrews.
joke. I'm a bad pill that'll make you choke. Wanna fly, have you burning hell? Baby, let's just face it, it's only a sin that sells. A sin that sells. Sunrise when you wish not to wake. Midnight in your fantasy. Ask Cinderella, she knows. A bit of me, a blasphemy. Don't forget, darling, I'm the scoundrel you chose. I'm the thunder and lightning on your sunny day, and I ain't going nowhere till I use all your faith. Well, if things can be different, you know I'd stay with you. Well, I guess that I'm doomed to the scoundrel blues.
Thank you very much for sticking around listening to that song, The Scoundrel Blues, by Ian Andrew and the Smokin' Scoundrels off of the album Foreplay. We're doing a little interview here in the secret space for Underplayed and Underpaid. And I'm Brian McNeil. If you want to get a hold of me because you want to be interviewed, get a hold of me at bryancfru@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to figure it out. It's what I like to do. All right, so
Brian,
continuing on.
You have the lyrics to Rich Girl.
Yeah.
I love that song.
Same.
No, I really do.
Yeah.
You're a rich girl and you've gone too far because you know it don't matter anyway.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just a great song.
I was practicing that because I did it duet with James Murray on a Monday night a while back, and it went fairly well. He hasn't asked me to do it again, but it went fairly well. It's in my... You know how you have different tones?
Yeah.
You know, like if you sing soft, you can go higher. For me,
well, that's using your head voice. Yeah.
And if you want to project yourself, that's where how you fall into. But it's not about me. This interview is about you. Okay.
It's stuck on my head now.
Fantastic.
You can rely on an old man's money. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. And the song was originally written about a guy, right?
Oh.
Yeah, a rich boy. Oh, now you get to, and you subs and viewers, you can also look into that. It was actually written about a guy, and then they decided to switch it to being about a girl.
You remember? You know the song? Trying to remember what it's called. Motorin'. What's your price for fun? Sister Christian. That was oh gosh, no, it wasn't Streetheart. It was I can't remember. I'm cheesy about that. I got all the cheesy albums in my car. Motley Crue, Girls, Dr. Feelgood. It's all in there. I got it. Seriously. I got Brant Parker Blues Band in there. That's for sure. I love the Brant. Yeah. Okay.
So Anonymous today allegedly is about to disclose that NASA is about to allegedly disclose that alien life exists for sure. What are your thoughts?
Well,
this is the current affairs piece.
I think it's about time that we find out. And for me, truthfully, I believe I think it's rather ignorant of any species to think that they're alone in the universe, really, if you think about it. They're really not. No.
You know what extremophiles are, eh?
What?
They're entities, like organisms that can live in the vacuum of space, in the deepest depths of the ocean, or like all of the...
Yeah. Now, are they now, is it intelligent life that they're talking about here?
I'm not referring to intelligent life, but I'm still referring to the building blocks of life.
Yeah.
And not even just the building blocks. We're talking about multi or even single cellular creatures that are the size of a plate.
Well, what's scary is I watched this film I think maybe a week ago, and that I'm gonna cuss. That scares the shit out of me. And I watched the film called Life. I don't know if you've heard of it or seen it. It was about this team on the International Space Station, a multicultural team. There was a gentleman from Japan, I believe there was a Russian guy, a couple Americans, British, and I think a Canadian maybe. Anyways, they had, the movie starts and they had this soil sample they gathered from Mars was in space. They somehow lost possession of it, and they had to grab it, and by golly, this guy's in a spacesuit, it's risky, and he grabs the sample, he's got it. So he brings it in, and they got it in... the
airlock chamber?
The airlock chamber, yes. They bring it into the lab where it's in its own little thing, and you got to use gloves to tinker with it or whatever. And what's really interesting is the one astronaut who's... I can't remember where he was from. I would say he's American, though. African American, if you're still allowed to say that. I mean, no offense if you're not. But he was actually disabled, but he liked being in space because, and it was interesting. They did tests and tested out his legs and things like that. He had really skinny legs because they didn't work, obviously. But it was interesting. He just kind of, he would float and he would work on this thing. So he was, looking through the microscope and watching it and doing tests on it. And they would change, how much nitrogen was in. Because basically this case that it was in, that the gloves were going into, kind of like those things in auto shops where you'd clean a part with or something like that, right? Same idea. But they could change the atmosphere inside this thing. So they would change how much nitrogen is in there, how much gravity was in there, what the atmosphere bases and gases were in it, and whatnot. And they made it basically like they did it and nothing worked and it stopped moving. And then they tried again and he said, let me just try something. And he added more nitrogen and he made it Earth-like. He made it Earth-like. All of a sudden this thing that was, like the size of a dime, if not smaller, came to life and started moving. And they came back the next day after a great success and found that it had grown. But then it stopped moving. It was just dead. But it wasn't dead. It was like in a very deep sleep. So what the guy did was he had this little rod, like skinny rod, and he tried poking it. and it was essentially, they were like defibrillators, but they were miniature defibrillators,
Gotcha.
right? And like the ballpoint tip of a pen. That's
Spoiler alert. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Geez, I'm sorry. I'm not even thinking about this. Anyways, this fucking thing gets really pissed off and wraps itself. It's like some sort of a symbiote or something like that.
Like Venom?
Almost like that, but it's like this.
Yeah.
It's just this goop thing, like this big.
Wow.
And
I'm suddenly just fascinated.
you know what? It looks like a stingray, sort of from the ocean, sort of like that. All of a sudden, it wraps itself around the hand, and it fucking breaks his hand. Like, it just breaks his hand, and he pulls it out, and then it's smart.
So it's got no legs and now one.
Yeah,
hand.
and it finds out that they find out that it needs moisture, and oxygen and water to survive.
So they suck all that out of it to save themselves, right? Out of the atmosphere?
Well, they try to, but this thing keeps getting bigger the more moisture it gets and the more oxygen it gets into it.
Oh.
So anyways, this thing turns out to be pretty big. It's anti-gravity, but its body type and everything is like a stingray. It's like it's swimming around in a fucking ocean. And it's fucking killing people and eating them.
3 F-bombs.
Sorry, it's been a whole show. It's been a whole show that I haven't sworn. And but anyways, that's what I think about when you say, this fucking single-celled organism. This fucking thing just grew into this monster that went from being this big to fucking this big, and it just fucking ate. And then they figured out this is the fucking reason there's no life on Mars anymore.
Oh, yeah?
that's why the Mars is a red planet. So now I'm thinking, oh, okay, great. So they're gonna are they gonna find something, and are we all gonna die, or what are they really releasing here? All these things.
Can't be. Come on, you can't feed into the fear campaign, man.
Well, I don't.
Keeps everybody micro-divided, bro.
Well, I suppose, man. But I am excited for it because I think it's a good thing that we know. I do understand that maybe the massive panic of things and et cetera, and what will people think? What will people do? Things like that of not telling them that, hey, we've been communicating with this alien species and this alien species for a long time.
That'd be nice. Eh?
It'd be rather cool. It's pretty neat, but I don't know. I'm neutral. I think it's interesting. I've always had an interest for science fiction and science nonfiction, and it's neat. I'm kind of excited to hear about it. Although, I'm worried about what it's going to entail now that we know.
I think we should be a little bit more worried about Mother Earth and what she's going to do to us for screwing with her, and then mass extinction level event, ice age, and the aliens are going to be up there shaking their fucking heads at us. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to play Pressed by Nick presents Button Rebuttal on Underplayed and Underpaid. Okay. Are you ready? Here's the rules. Okay, so I ask you a riddle, and if you can't figure it out, then I make you stick your hand in this putrid, disgusting bag of dirty buttons.
Okay.
Are you ready to begin?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Ian Andrews. How do you tell if the stage is level?
The stage is level.
How do you tell if the stage is level? Coming up on 10 seconds, bro.
You stand on it?
No! The answer is the drummer is drooling from both sides of his mouth. Stick your hand in the dirty button bag.
As I answer, do I get to take it out?
You get one. You get to take one, and that's your punishment. And we'll tell the viewers and the subs what you won.
Well, I won a... Is that Donald Trump?
Oh, yeah, Donald Trump with buttles for eyes and buttles for a mouth. There you go. And now you have an opportunity to rebut as to why you deserve one of these fantastically shiny, wonderfully colored, beautiful green underplayed and underpaid buttons.
I got a t-shirt.
There you go. That's all you had to say is anything. Anything when you get a button. Thank you very much for playing Button Rebuttal on Underplayed and Underpaid. If you need buttons and you're in the Guelph or Quad City area, why don't you get a hold of Pressed by Nick on the Facebook. Just type in Pressed by Nick, and he's a good guy. He's also a promoter, so if you're in a band and whatnot, and you're looking, I think he does more so like the punk and heavier stuff, acoustic punk kind of stuff. He just threw a show the other night with Got Social was the opening band, fantastic, and a Wilhelm Scream was the headliner. So Nick's really stepping up his game, moving up. He also works at Sunrise Records. He might be able to get your CD on the shelf. What do you think about that?
That'd be very cool.
Fantastic.
I need to work out some more distribution things with it, actually.
Awesome. Oh, man, things are coming together. All right, thank you very much for being an awesome guest.
I think I got a riddle for you.
Oh, a riddle for me. Uh-oh.
Yes.
Do you have any, what do I win? A hug? A dart?
You win a Ian Andrews and the Smokin' Scoundrels t-shirt.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, great. You know I'm going to wear that at work and make sure people guess. Okay, what's the riddle?
Now I'm just trying to remember all of it.
Uh-oh.
So a riddle for you,
okay.
Mr. Brian McNeil.
Here we go. Underplayed and underpaid.
What travels around the world but stays in a corner?
A stamp.
Congratulations, you won a t-shirt.
Oh, here's a handshake. Give me a t-shirt.
That's
and,
right.
Yeah,
I just gave you Anthony's Cold.
Oh, well, I didn't touch... I did, too. God damn it! All right.
I didn't wash my hands.
Thanks for being a guest on Underplayed and Underpaid. Thanks for all the fun things that you shared with us. And here's to seeing you soon perform. And let's go for a pint.
I like it. Let's do it.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Cheers. Ciao for now.